just hand it to me, right? Okay, I'd like to thank you guys for showing up here. I'm sorry, I was at the other end here, and I don't know what happened before I got here. What was Henry talking about? Well, first I got to turn my hearing aid on. I got some damn Jimi Hendrix hearing aids. All right, my Sam Ash hearing aids, that's what I'm wearing.
You know, Paul Ash is here. So
He is?
Yes, he is.
I'll be darned.
And
Where is
he's really upset about your denigrating the whole chain. You know that? But really why I'm up here is I'm looking, I got the toilet plunger, you know, one part of it, but where's the handle? The handle. No handle? Okay, well, Les, Paul, come on up here. Paul, come on up here. Do we want to see Paul Ash? Yes! Paul Ash, come on up here. No, it's all right. We're still looking for the handle for the toilet. Les. This is Paul Ash, right here. Gobi? Kobe Narita? Narita. Kobe Narita, please come up here. Could you help us find the handle for the toilet plunger? Paul, thank you. Okay, now, do you know in New York City, today is Les Paul Day. Now, Mayor Giuliani, among his many different diversions, has thought about Les Paul. Les, this is Les Paul Day in New York City. Come over here. Yes. Come over here. Mayor Giuliani would like to present this to you, but he's busy tonight. Now, Les. Hold. Now, Les, this will go next to your 300 guitars under your bed. I went to Les's house, and he does have guitars under his bed. And every time he calls me, he says, you know, Henry, I heard there's another Les Paul guitar you guys are making. And in my contract, it says that I get a copy of every single Les Paul guitar you make. And I said, Les, you have 10 million.
Which I haven't got.
And that's what he said. So.
Go ahead.
I'm on a roll, Les, you know. So I was a young, struggling businessman. At Fat Tuesdays, I went to see the revered Les Paul, right? And he's up there, and he's playing, and, you know, this guy's a god. I never thought I would meet the real guy. And so I'm sitting in the audience, and Les is playing his guitar, and he hits the toggle switch, and it falls out of the guitar. You remember this, Les? First time I met you. So Les, being the kind human being that he is, says, you know what? Gibson made this guitar. And the toggle switch has fallen out of the guitar. And I would like you to meet the new CEO of Gibson. Please stand up. And that is an absolutely true story. So Les, God bless you. And we have you down for another 10, 15 years?
Thank you, Henry. Yeah, I remember when Henry bought Gibson. Gibson was at its lowest, and we had to turn that thing around. So Henry and I went down to Chinatown, and we spent a whole day just discussing what we were going to do with that, with the Gibson company and the Epiphone company. And Henry made it possible because he listened, and we had a wonderful talk. And right now we share all kinds of things that we wouldn't have shared had we not gone to Chinatown and got that Chinese dinner, right?
Well, we won't talk about that disease, but I do have a... Sorry, Les, you know. Maureen from Rogers & Cowan told me to say that. We have a guitar for you. Yes, I think so. The third one since I've been there. Don Pitts will present to you this gold top guitar. Now, do you know that Les chased Gibson down and told them that he had this vision, right? M.H. Berlin. He chased Gibson down and said, you know, this Leo Fender guy is gonna eat you up on market share, and I have a better instrument, and you really need to deal with me. And he kept going back to M.H. Berlin in Chicago and said, I'm a really good guitar player, and I got this figured out. And the first guitar he built, the Log, was actually an Epiphone in the Epiphone factory on 14th Street because Gibson wouldn't talk to him. And he kept coming back, and there was no money in it for him, actually. And he finally convinced M.H. Berlin, even though all the guys in Michigan said, no way, right, Les? And so it's been 50 years since Les's vision has taken over the world. And it's his vision as a guitar player, experimenting since he was a young lad, since he was rhubarb red, playing out. And his mom was a bartender, am I right? Well, she is now.
She was a hooker.
She's a bartender, as I said, for public. But she liked guitar. You know, what can I say? So, Les, I'm going to give you the mic. I'm getting in a lot of trouble here. Okay. Well,
Hey,
that's yours, pal. This is number 4.
There you go. This is something that, this was the first one that we designed for the Gibson people. We, meaning I had a couple of buddies out in California there, and I had already approached Gibson, like Henry says, for 10 years. And they really weren't interested in the solid body. In fact, after some 10 years later, after this guitar came out, they decided to junk the whole thing again. And in 1964, 65, if any of you guys, Sam Ash, you would know this, and that is that the guitar was almost extinct, except for this. There was the Jimmy Pages, the Jeff Becks. There were the people back there that would wander up and down 48th Street and pay $10,000 to get an old Les Paul guitar that no longer was being made. And it was there that the whole thing turned around. Mr. Berlin, I flew to Chicago, and I said, would you consider reuniting and doing this thing all over again one more time? Because I don't think all these guys are wrong. And they're actually the rock and rollers that made this Les Paul guitar come back and become such a success. So I would like to take my hats off